So you know how a while ago I played through and won a Blaze Black Nuzlocke? What if I did that again, but with the sequel, Blaze Black 2 Redux?
Warm in the day, have a good time. Cool in the night, have a good time. That's what I keep on saying till I lose my mind. Feel like a bird in the sea breeze. Shine like a moon in the last sky. Can you believe it till the end of your life? Go eat some ducks into a room. That's enough for families. Rush already know how to have fun. No need of explanation. Whoa, what's it worth of nothing? Whoa, what's it worth of nothing? Sure, that doesn't matter. Whoa, Storyteller. Whoa, what's it worth of nothing? Whoa, what's it worth of nothing? Oh no, it doesn't matter. So we will never lose.
Like Pokemon Blaze Black 2 Redux is a difficulty hack that completely revamps fights and a lot of Pokemon's types, stats, and movesets. The rule set isn't too different from the last Nuzlocke. I'm playing with hardcore Nuzlocke rules. I can only catch the first Pokemon on a route or area, unless I already have that Pokemon, or evolution line, or it's shiny. Any Pokemon that faints is considered dead and can't be used anymore. Every Pokemon must be nicknamed. I'm not allowed to use items in battle, except for Pokeballs, and none of my Pokemon can be a higher level than the current gym leader, evil team leader, or champion. Drayano and AphexCubed did a great job with this hack. The fights were hard, and every Pokemon had some sort of use, and were rightly balanced. Thank you for removing stupidly broken Pokemon like Drought Volcarona and Drizzle Slowbro. Speaking of broken Pokemon, I want to go through this game with new Pokemon, so I want to avoid the Pokemon I already used, where I can at least. And that's exactly why I chose Oshawott over Snivy. Snivy is great and all with Contrary, but Oshawott had its ability changed from Vital Spirit to Shell Armor, giving amazing switch in potential because it can never get crit. After choosing Oshawott and naming him character, I beat my rival YouTube, and I can finally get my first encounter. Filler the Purloin can definitely be good if they had Prankster. Oh well, they didn't have Prankster. They still get Fake Out, which is really good. I keep going, get sniffed by Elder, what a fucking weirdo. Pick up Plot the Pants here, and then the first trainer fight, character fucking dies. To Bide of all things. Yeah, I get I'm to blame for this one, but come on, it's literally only 20 minutes into the run, and I lost my starter. I pick up Conflict the Cubone, who has Lightning Rod. Could have had Battle Armor, but you know, it's fine. Cubone does insane damage for this point in the game. In Floresci Ranch, I catch Action the Houndour, beat up YouTube again, and got an egg which contained a Cubchoo. This is literally the worst possible egg encounter I could have gotten. I mean, look at this list. There's so much potential here. But Foil can definitely come in handy. Maybe? We'll find out later. Never mind, he dies to a Trico. What the f- Cheren is the first gym leader. But wait, why is Roxanne here? Let me explain. In Blaze Black 2, you have the option to fight all of the Hoenn gym leaders. Some of them are very hard fights to win, but if you beat them, they can give you very good rewards. For example, Roxanne gives you berry juice for winning, a very valuable early game item. Brawley gives you an egg, which is basically a free encounter. Watson gives you bug resist berries. Honestly, he can go fuck himself. Flannery, Norman, and Juan all give different choice items. Winona gives you the... Fuck, what'd she give you? I don't remember. It's probably not important. And Tate and Liza give you the TM for Protect, which is really good for stalling and scouting attacks. A lot of these fights are hard, but the rewards are well worth the risk. Except Watson, he can go die in a hole for all I care. Now let's deal with Cheren. The scariest part of his team isn't the Technician Minchino, Workup Lillipup, or even the Crit Machine Pidove. It's the Munchlax. Munchlax only has Workup and Flail. Flail gets stronger the less HP he has, making him very dangerous if I can't one-shot. Did I mention he also has an Eviolite? So it's basically impossible to one-shot this Munchlax. But there is a way around this. And Plot is my solution. Plot learns one of my favorite moves, Tickle. If you watch the other Nuzlocke video, you know why I love this move. By using Tickle, I'm not only able to drop Munchlax's defense to -6, but with how setup AI works, if a stat is +6 already, the Pokemon can never use that setup move if it would increase that stat. This allows Plot to tank enough hits to drop Munchlax to -6 defense and -6 attack for switching Conflict to end the fight with Bone Club. Just like that, Deathless Cheren. There's not much between Cheren and Roxie, but I do get a few good encounters. Cheren gives me a fishing rod, allowing me to pick up Dialogue the Surskit in Espertia City. In Verbank Complex, I get Relief the Nidoran female, and Narrator the Magnemite. Yeah, that's right, you get 2 encounters in the complex. The outside and inside are 2 different areas. Then in Verbank City, I choose to get one of the best Pokemon in Climax the Squirtle, mostly because he has shell armor, but he has a lot more utility later down the line. Roxie is definitely a bit harder to deal with because she actually has a strategy. Action would have been great here because they would have been a pretty decent check to Whirlipede and Coughing. Too bad they died right before the fight. I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, Roxie leads with a Trubbish who really wants to set up toxic spikes, but it also really wants to explode. Thankfully, Narrator is not only able to take the explosion, but because they're steel type, they're able to bait in Coughing, who sees the kill with Incinerate, allowing Relief to get in for free and remove the toxic spikes. Since Relief is a poison type, they were able to absorb the toxic spikes, and they also now bait Psybeam, allowing for Filler to get in for free. Filler chips Coughing with Fake Out before going back to Narrator on a Venoshock, restarting the cycle until Filler is able to eventually finish off Coughing. Whirlipede comes in and sees the kill with Bug Bite, and I switch to Narrator to tank the hit and Thunder Wave him. Plot switches in and is able to Fire Punch him down, eventually bringing in Croagunk. Climax switches in and Croagunk sets up Nasty Plot, putting me in a terrible situation. Climax, however, is able to yawn Croagunk before taking a Venoshock, which allows me to switch in Narrator, take in another Venoshock, and then Croagunk is asleep. Conflict is able to get him for free and takes out Croagunk with a Bone Meringue. Yet again, another Deathless Gym Leader. Alright, now we actually have some downtime before the next gym. After beating Roxie, I have to fight some Plasma Grunts, and Narrator dies to Carvanha and Beedrill's Assurance. What sucks is that this is one of the few steel types I actually get. What a fucking start to this run. After tracking down the Plasma Grunt and not losing anyone this time, I learned I have to fight Bryson. Unique to Blaze Black 2, there are a few extra boss battles added to the game. Bryson is just one of them. Luckily, before the fight, I got to evolve a few of my Pokemon like Surskit into Masquerain and Cubone into Marowak. Bryson goes down without a problem, and I am able to finally head to Castelia City. Castelia has a ton of items you can pick up, so it's worth it to go into every single building. But first, let's get some more encounters. On Route 4, I catch Fridging the Darmaka. Please tell me someone gets the Fridging reference. In the sewers, I kill a Zubat, so no encounter for me. What sucks is that Zubat would have actually been pretty good for this gym, but oh well. I get Obstacle the Geodude and Relic Passage. He doesn't have Sturdy, making him really fucking bad. He doesn't make it past his gym, so don't get too attached to him. In the gardens, I get one of the best encounters in development, the Eevee. It's spelled develop because I'm a fucking dumbass, but we're just gonna ignore that. The reason why getting Eevee here is important is not only can Eevee evolve into 7 different pretty good Pokemon, but I could have gotten the gift Eevee from Dr. Fennel instead. But now, since that Eevee would be considered a duplicate, I can now choose to take one of the Johto starters. But I'll come back to them later because Burgh is such a huge problem and Quilava just isn't good this split. Unfortunately, I don't have a great plan for dealing with Burgh. His team is actually scary. Bug is one of the few types that have early enough full evolutions, making him very hard to deal with, especially since most of my Pokemon don't fully evolve until the next gym. Before the fight, however, I am able to evolve Plot into Simisear thanks to the girl giving a Firestone. I hope this will help just a little. Let's run it. Burgh leads with Dwebble and I lead with Climax. Climax can never get crit and takes a long time to get rid of, so Dwebble wants to set up Spikes and Stealth Rocks. Luckily, Climax has Rapid Spin, allowing him to get rid of the hazards. Before spinning out the hazards though, Burgh switches in Parasect, a complete misplay from him, allowing me to break his Focus Sash. I switch Relief in to tank a Seed Bomb, and Relief hits back with a Peck, doing absolute piss poor damage, and they get put to sleep with Spore. I'm on the back foot now, but I am able to switch in Plot, who not only takes the X-Scissor, but is able to KO with a Fire Punch. Dwebble comes back in, but is too weak to take any hits, allowing Plot to chain kill. Burgh's Masquerain comes in and wants to kill Bubble Beam, but I still need Plot for his Levani. Dialogue comes in, and instead of taking a Bubble Beam, they take a Struggle Bug, dropping my special attack. Dialogue's Air Cutter isn't able to punch a hole in Burgh's Masquerain, so I have to switch. I bring in Obstacle to take the Air Cutter, and I switch him to Climax to take a Bubble Beam. Climax yawns Masquerain, putting them to sleep, and unfortunately Climax can't do huge damage to Masquerain, so I switch to Conflict and take them out with a few Rock Tombs. And since Conflict was the last one out, Levani sees that they can kill Leaf Blade. Conflict is still really strong at this point in the game. I still need him for a few fights, so I make the call to sacrifice Obstacle. I told you he wouldn't make it past this gym. I switch into Obstacle, expecting them to go down this turn. but Levani sets up Sword Stance, doubling their attack. Obstacle wasn't an obstacle for Burgh. No. They were an obstacle for me. While Levani was able to set up, this gave Obstacle the chance to get one hit off with a Celerock before going down to a Leaf Blade. Thankfully, I'm able to bring in Plot right after, who's able to kill with Fire Punch and win us the rest of the fight. That's what I would have said if Plot outsped. But Levani not only outsped, but landed a critical hit on Plot, killing them. So I bring in my next best answer, Dialogue. But they can't outspeed Levani either, and they go down to an X Scissor. Now, my only hope of winning is Relief. And like the joke they are, they're asleep. I go for a peck, but they don't wake up. But even though Relief didn't wake up, she had one more joke in her. In her final act, Poison Point activated, poisoning Levani, putting them on even greater timer than they already were on. Unfortunately, Relief has to go because nothing else can safely take a Leaf Blade or X Scissor. The Comic Relief has retired from this run. Levani goes down to the combined damage of Life Orb and Poison, leaving just Larvesta. Climax is able to come in and kill Larvesta with Bubble Beam, finally putting this nightmare of a fight to an end. I just want to point out, I 100% should have lost that fight. Relief's Poison Point only had a 30% chance of actually activating, so the only thing that kept my run going was a 30% chance. I don't really know how to feel about this. But guess what? I have a new gem to work towards, and a whole ton of encounters. First, I beat the Battle Company for the Sinnoh Egg, getting me a Glameow. By the way, this thing is literally just budget Incineroar. It has knockoff, U-turn, fake out. It's really good. For the Johto starters, I choose a Chikorita named Plot Twist, because, well, Plot Twist, Meganium is actually really good in this game. That's all the encounters I have for now, because I have a Colress fight coming up. I dog-walked Colress. He never really stood a chance. And then he gives me one of the best items in the game, a Life Orb. The Life Orb gives a 30% boost in power to every move. In exchange, the Pokemon loses 10% of its HP every turn it uses an attacking move. But for some reason, with Game Freak's amazing coding, a few Pokemon can actually ignore that recoil. And I happen to have one of these Pokemon. Sheer Force is an ability that removes the added effects of moves like flinching, burning, paralyzing, and in exchange, moves with added effects get a 30% boost in power. Fridging my Darmanitan has this ability. Combining Sheer Force and a Life Orb gives me a better choice band with no drawback. The choice items are only balanced because they lock you into a single move. I effectively have a better choice band that allows me to choose a different move every turn. Now that I have a stupidly powerful Pokemon, let's get some more encounters. I catch Villain the Sandile in the Desert Resort, and yeah, there will be a hero, just not yet. I decided to skip the Relic Castle encounter for now because the encounters are just straight up ass. Nothing good is here, but I will be back later for something much better. I enter in Nimbasa City and get jump scared by Lenora, but you know, Darmanitan is absolutely insane. And then I go to Route 16 to get my next encounter. But you know, I'm a dumbass, and Filler dies in a random double battle to Volby and Illumise. And you know what? I honestly don't blame them. Volby and Illumise got insane buffs. And guess what my next encounter was? Mentor the Volby. Let me show you just how strong these two Pokemon were made. These were their base stats. So I actually don't know if I'm showing Sun and Moon base stats or their original base stats, but either way, they both suck. These Pokemon had nothing going for them. Now, these are the Aphex and Drayano stats. Volby got turned into an absolutely amazing glass cannon Pokemon, and Illumise got overall bulkier with a bit more attack investment. So their damage is still really impressive. After catching Mentor, I go into Lost Thorn Forest and catch side character the AphexCubed. And this wasn't a bad encounter at all. Sure, it's terrible right now, but I just need to make it past Elesa, and a ton of Pokemon get put online. On Route 6, I catch Bargain the Gothita. More on them much later. And I skip the Hidden Grotto so I can actually get something better than a Stantler. There's still another encounter I can get, but to get it, I have to beat the Emmet and Ingo tag battle. Thankfully, it wasn't actually that hard. Rosa made it really easy, and I'm able to pick up Lure the Mudkip. Now let's deal with the gym. Elesa is actually easier this time around because she doesn't have Focus Blast or Flamethrower on literally everything. She also has one less Pokemon. One of her biggest problems still remains, her Emolga. This thing can kill with a gem boosted Acrobatics, set up Light Screen, or pivot in and out with Volt Switch and U-turn. But I have something Elesa doesn't, a backstory. I lead backstory who hits a Fake Out and is able to outspeed Emolga and hit Knockoff. What the fuck? Emolga switches out with U-turn to bring in Ampharos. I U-turn out to bring in Plot Twist, who who's able to wall their stabs pretty well. Plot Twist is able to stall them out until Elesa uses their potion. I bring in Lore and hit Ampharos with a bulldoze. That did absolutely nothing, by the way. And this Ampharos is actually a way bigger problem than I thought. I switch Plot Twist in on Dragon Pulse, who is immune now thanks to being a fairy type, and I'm able to heal up just a little with Synthesis. Plot Twist can't hold off Ampharos forever, so I switch in Backstory to chain Fake Out and U-turn. Plot Twist comes back in. Yeah, I know, there's a lot of switching around for just this Pokemon, but Plot Twist is able to eventually finish off Ampharos. Now Zebstrika comes in and sees a kill with Overheat. Originally, Lore was supposed to be the one to tank it, but since he's weakened, I have to send in Fridging. But Zebstrika actually saw overlapping rolls with Overheat and Bounce, allowing Fridging to come in for free. Since Fridging underspeeds, he's able to land a Fire Punch. It doesn't kill Zebstrika, but it forces him to Volt Switch. Lantern comes in and takes the Fire Punch, still doing a huge chunk of damage thanks to both Life Orb and Sheer Force, and Darmanitan is able to outspeed the Lantern and kill him next turn with Body Slam. Electabuzz comes in and sees a kill with almost every move, so I make the switch to Mentor and they take a Psychic. Mentor has really poor Bolt, but they have one thing going for them: Prankster. Prankster is an ability that gives +1 priority to every status move. With Prankster Moonlight, Volbeat is able to stall Electabuzz's HP down because of his Life Orb. The only hole in this strategy is the 1/16 chance I get crit, and also the 5 PP of Moonlight. So I have to end this now. With Moonlight out of PP, I go for Struggle Bug, but Electabuzz still outspeeds my Volbeat. Although I just picked up Mentor, I had pretty high hopes for them later in the game. Mentor, I'm sorry it had to be this way, man. Backstory comes in and cleans up with the Fake Out, as Zebstrika comes back in and I switch to Conflict to eat a Volt Switch. Conflict is able to kill the Bone Meringue after taking a bounce, and Emolga goes down to Strength the next turn. Elesa has been beaten with only 1 death. With Gym 4 complete, I can finally move on, but it isn't Clay who's my biggest problem. It's the fight before the Driftveil drawbridge, Heartbreaker Charles. Heartbreaker Charles has a team full of heavy hitters like Reckless Bouffalant, Sheer Force Life Orb Judigan, and Tinted Lens Sigilyph. And this isn't a single battle. No. It's a triple battle. And if you saw the last video, I hate triple battles, especially this one. Backstory, Villain, and Climax are able to take down Sigilyph and Aselgor pretty easily, and Bouffalant and Judigan come in and see kills on Villain. I switch in Lore to take a Mega Horn and to dodge a Dragon Rush. I U-turn out with Backstory to keep tempo and damage on Crocrock. Lore then takes a double up from Bouffalant and Crocrock, only surviving with 9 HP. Lore is able to drop Judigan low with Avalanche though, but now I need to switch. Lore is simply too important. I can't risk him dying. Backstory switched in Plot Twist, and everyone else is just too low, so I have to switch in Fridging. In Storytelling, Fridging is a story element used to artificially drive a character's development. Fridging is to kill someone or something that means a lot to the main character, driving their own character development. And Darmanitan is no different from me. He died. Villain, Plot Twist, and Climax are able to clean up the rest of the fight, but I lost my main damage for the team. I don't think anything can replace him, but someone else needs to step up. Getting to Driftveil City allows me to buy evolution stones, finally allowing development to come online. They're no longer an Eevee. They developed into a Glaceon. And let me tell you, Glaceon is a top 5 Pokemon in this hack. Instead of being a slow, bulky special attacker, they traded their special defense for speed, going from 65 speed to a blazing 95. This speed is enough to outspeed most Pokemon, especially the Pokemon in Clay's gym. But before the gym, let's get a few more encounters. On the bridge, I caught Drama the Swablu. In the city, I choose setting the Chimchar as a Sinnoh starter. I caught Tension the Marill. And for the final encounter, I get the Gift Shiny Corsola Prophecy. But there's still one more thing I can do before the gym. Remember how I fought Roxanne before Cheren so I can get a few bear juices? Norman is the optional gym leader before Clay, and the item he gives for beating him is the Choice Specs. The Choice Specs boost a holder's special attack by 50%, but locks them into a single move. This item is very powerful, and I must get it. With my new Infernape, I'm able to blitz through Norman and take those Choice Specs, giving me the edge I desperately needed for the gym. With Development holding the Choice Specs, she's able to completely destroy Clay's Nidoqueen and Excadrill. Development gave us a huge lead, but they need to take the backseat now. Lore, Villain, and Plot Twist are able to finish off the rest of the gym, giving me a deathless Clay. I told you Clay would be easy. Even with all my losses starting to rack up now, I'm still confident I will win. Beating Clay opens up a bit more of the map and one of the most important areas in the game, the PWT. Let me explain why. The The PWT is home to the Battle Brothers, 2 NPCs that help with training. One helps us level, kinda lame, I'm playing with rare candies anyways, but the other guy, he trains EVs. Now this is something I'm good at. Welcome back to OwenGC's TED Talk. Effort values and independent values, or EVs and IVs, determine what your Pokemon can do well. IVs are what Pokemon are born with. Think of it like DNA. IVs cannot be changed, unlike EVs. Each stat has an IV range from 0 to 31, 31 being the best possible value. Each IV point is an additional point in any given stat. So 31 IVs in HP is 31 more HP, while 2 IVs in HP is 2 more HP. There's no way to change these values, so whatever you catch a Pokemon with is what you're stuck with. EVs, on the other hand, you can play around with and customize. EVs are what you train your Pokemon to be better at. Every 4 EVs is 1 point more in a stat. You can have a total of 252 EVs in a stat, increasing it by 63 points. There is a limit to this, however. Every Pokemon has a limit of 508 usable EVs. This makes it so your Pokemon can't be good at everything, and makes it so you have to decide what your Pokemon is good at. Let's use development the Glaceon, for example. Their IVs are 17 HP, 9 attack, 8 defense, 25 special attack, 16 special defense, and 22 speed. With base 130 special attack and 95 speed, we want to lean into what Glaceon is good at. We can train Glaceon to have a higher special attack and speed, allowing it to outspeed things it normally wouldn't be able to, and take kills it otherwise couldn't without the training. This can go other ways as well. We can train a Pokemon to take hits it otherwise wouldn't be able to, or train it to be even more tanky than it already is by patching up his low defensive stats. EVs play a huge role when calculating for damage and trying to create riskless lines and plants. We'll definitely be revisiting this topic later. Anyways, because I skipped my Relic Castle encounter, I can finally cash it in now. Going through the PWT entrance allows me to run into the guaranteed Volcarona. I catch Author the Volcarona, an absolutely amazing Pokemon. I used a Volcarona in my last Nuzlocke and absolutely popped off with it. Author doesn't have Drought, but they are still stupidly powerful. I sweep through the PWT. For some reason, they were all level 20 Pokemon. Great job, Aphex and Drayano. Flawless game, and I deal with Team Plasma on their ship. After dealing with Team Plasma, I go down Route 7, get Surf, and have a few more encounters I can get. First is Entralink Cave. Last time, this gave me not 1, but 2 pseudo-legendaries. While I definitely can't get 2 this time because the encounter locations got switched around, maybe I can at least get something good though. Nope, I get a Kangaskhan. Not a great Pokemon. I never used them. Fuck you. In Clay Tunnel, I have another chance to get something really good. Feebas. Do I get it? You're funny. I catch Pet the Seal. Not great, but they at least have 1 use later. Now I gotta deal with my rival outside of Chargestone Cave. Never mind, development killed him. You're doing great, bud. And finally, in Chargestone Cave, I get something good. Progression the Clink. Sorry, that should say Progressio the Clink. Steel types will always be good because of how good they are defensively. Not only is Clink pretty good defensively, they can use shift gear to double speed and raise attack all in 1 move. I love this thing so much. Moving past the cave, I make it to Mistralton City. But before I go and catch more Pokemon, let's deal with Juan. Juan gives me the Choice Scarf if I beat him. The Choice Scarf is the best item in the game. It's able to patch up any Pokemon speed problem thanks to its 50% speed boost. The only problem with this is that Juan is one of the hardest optional trainers in the game. Juan uses a mix of fast sweepers or bulky attackers to overwhelm any team, and I am just one of his victims. I go into this fight with 6 Pokemon: Plot Twist, Development, Prophecy, Climax, Backstory, and Lore. But out of these 6, only 3 are making it out alive. I lead Plot Twist to snipe Love Disc, but Love Disc is able to put me on the back foot turn 1 by landing a crit Moonblast. Kingdra sees a fast kill with Ice Beam, but because Plot Twist is so low, they baited a random move instead, making Backstory take a Hydro Pump. I fake out and U-turn chain to bring in Climax, who hits a fake out. But bringing in Climax was probably the greatest mistake I could have made, because Kingdra set up the rain. Do you know why I hate the rain? With the rain setup, Kingdra's speed is doubled. Climax just barely misses the KO, and Kingdra rests, going back to full HP. I am screwed. Climax wears them down a little more, but he can only take so many hits, so I have to go for a play. I switch in a completely healthy Lore to take the incoming Hydro Pump. He takes it and lives at 52 HP. With how much stalling we both did, the rain has stopped. Kingdra goes for another rest, but it can't wake up this turn because it already ate its Chesto Berry. This gives me 3 free turns. This This allows Lord to Earthquake down Kingdra. This brings in Wishcash, and I'm able to switch in Development, who's able to kill with a Specs boosted Grass Knot. After Wishcash, Crawdaunt comes in, and this was the Pokemon I actually feared the most. He's not fast, he's not bulky, but he sure as hell hits like a fucking truck. Adaptability boosted Aqua Jets and Crab Hammers threaten KOs everywhere. But even with Crawdaunt in front of me, he wasn't my biggest issue. It was myself. It was my fear. Since the death of Frigging, I didn't want to risk losing another great Pokemon. So I switch out Development and bring in Lore. Lore is able to dodge the first Crab Hammer, but this Crawdaunt is a sadistic piece of shit. He outspeeds the next turn and kills Lore. Backstory comes in to avenge Lore with a chain fake out and U-turn, but Crawdaunt is able to Aqua Jet before Backstory can get out. I bring in Climax to hit a fake out and then switch to Prophecy, who takes a Crab Hammer, but Prophecy can't live on and dies to a crunch. And that's death number 3. I lost 3 Pokemon, all because of my own fears. All because I doubted Development could kill Crawdaunt. Development finally comes back in and is able to kill Crawdaunt with a Grass Knot. I feared the risks. Walrein comes in and Development is able to one-hit KO with a Grass Knot. I beat Juan and I'm able to get my blood-soaked Choice Scarf, but I lost so much to get it. All those Pokemon were amazing. Was losing 3 great Pokemon really worth the Choice Scarf? I can only move on to find out. It's almost time to face the gym, but I have 2 more encounters and a Colress fight to deal with. On Route 7, I get a Fungus. I never used them. And then in Celestial Tower, I get one of my best Pokemon, Motive the Litwick. Chandelure is an absolute monster with base 145 special attack, one of the highest just outright. Chandelure doesn't have great speed at base 80 speed, but with the newly obtained Choice Scarf, we can patch up the slow speed stat and absolutely nuke everything. At the end of Route 7, there's a fight with Colress, but Setting is able to beat him down really easily. And now let's deal with Skyla. Let's lead Progressio into her. Oh my god, everyone is dead. So it turns out, setting up with 4 shift gears is enough to kill just about anything. Holy fuck, Progressio. Deathless Skyla. Now there's a huge gap between Skyla and Drayden, and honestly, this is probably my favorite part of Black and White too. The journey from Lentimus Town to Opelousas City is just such a nice break from the constant gym fights. But since I am in a new area, I can also get a ton of new encounters. And right outside Reversal Mountain, I get one of the best Pokemon, Struggle the Scroopy. Drapion is an amazing Pokemon for Black and White. Poison and Dark is a really good defensive typing, and pairing with Drapion's great natural bulk, he's able to check or wall almost anything. But that's not it. You know how Climax is a pretty good hit taker? That's because he's immune to crits. Struggle has Battle Armor, an ability that makes him immune to crits. Struggle also has another leg up on Climax, sustainability. While Climax has no way to reliably recover HP, Struggle is able to make use of Black Sludge, and they have Leech Life. Drapion is simply put the best defensive Pokemon I could have asked for. Alright, that's enough Drapion glazing. In the old house, I catch a Dewosian. Look, they aren't a bad Pokemon, but I never find a use for them. Trust me, I tried finding a use for them. In Reversal Mountain, I battled Bianca. Progressio, being the absolute goat that they are, killed everything again. And me and Bianca are able to make it through the several tag battles in Reversal Mountain, and I finally make it to Undella Town. And guess what? More encounters. In Undella Town, I fish up a Love Disc. Normally, this would be terrible, but Love Disc got a huge buff with way higher speed and special attack, and also a new typing in Fairy and Water. I never use them, but if you ever play this hack, please try using this thing. It is absolutely insane. In the Bay, I catch Wailmer. They're not a great Pokemon. I skip straight to the Abundant Shrine, beat all the trainers there, and find the hidden grotto there. The hidden grotto here has a chance of giving me a Dratini. Having a Dragonite would be absolutely insane. Hey, that's a funny looking Swablu. What the fuck? So while cycling through a whopping 2 Swablu, a shiny one just pops up, which is insane. Anyways, Hero has finally took stage. While Altaria isn't the best Pokemon, it did get a nice type change to Dragon and Fairy, and a small boost to its attack and HP stats. Moving past Hero, I get 2 more insane pickups in Apotheosis the Mienfoo on Route 14, and Adventure the Vulpix in Abundant Shrine. I don't have to explain why Mienshao is so good. I mean, look at the other video. Sabotage was a great Pokemon. But Vulpix is really good because I finally have a weather setter with Drought. Before leaving Undella Town, my rival bites me. Development absolutely bitches him. Please try harder, bro. On Route 13, I catch friend the Golbat. Zubat finally makes its return after killing him in Castelia sewers. Cobali and Aura farms on me. But, you know, we're not playing with legendaries here. Fuck that. I learned about Kyurem eating people in Locanosa Town, beat the shit out of Team Plasma, catch Ordeal to Staravia, almost fight Benga. I honestly wanted to fight him, but I didn't know that he was kind of optional and you can just skip him. And then I finally make it to Village Bridge. Village Bridge has the guy with a 999 battle win streak. Too bad I have an awesome team and I'm able to just sweep straight through him. Village Bridge is also home to some of the worst encounters in the game, but it's often in the worst of places that you find something great. And my encounter here was something great. Often when writing a story, characters face some sort of death time and time again. This can be the death of a character, death of innocence, or simply just the threat of it. And Death at Illumise is the embodiment of it all. They may not hit as hard as Volbeat would have, but their bug fairy typing is so much better both defensively and offensively. They have the ability Tinted Lens, allowing them to hit through resisted Pokemon. I'd argue Illumise is one of the best Pokemon in this game. But enough of that. I passed by Verisian on Route 11 to catch Subplot the Gligar. Verisian fucking sucks. Also, this Gligar doesn't have Poison Heal, so that stinks. Finally, after that long journey, I made it to Opelucid City. Drayden's team isn't that hard to deal with. I have several fairy types and a Glaceon. The issue isn't the team I bring, it's the moves my Glaceon knows. Glaceon can almost sweep through all of Drayden's team with Glaciate as long as they are wearing the choice specs. Keyword, almost. Drayden's Charizard is the only Pokemon that won't go down in one hit unless it's from a Frost Breath. Frost Breath is stronger than Glaciate because it always lands a crit, and crits in Gen 5 are double damage. So why wouldn't I use it? It's 90% accurate. If I hit that 10%, development is dead. But what fun is it if there's no stakes to play against? Development is able to Ice Strut again immediately, and I'm expecting Charizard to come in and see it kill Flamethrower, but Drayden sends in Flygon. I mean, sure, they have Fire Blast, so go off, I guess. Flygon goes down to a Frost Breath, so now he'll send in Charizard, right? That's an Altaria, you dumbass. They get turned into a Popsicle, but something is just in the back of my mind. When will that 10% hit? Every time I hit a Frost Breath, I'm just getting closer to hitting that 10% miss. Drayden sends in his Salamis, honestly just a really weird looking Charizard. I decided development had enough of this, and I switch in Climax to Fake Out and bait in Outrage. Then I switch to Progressio, who can Volt Switch out and bring back Development. Development freezes Salamis this time with the much more accurate Glaciate taking him down. Drayden sends in his Haxorus, who is dead on entry because of just how powerful Glaceon is. The only Pokemon left at this point is Charizard, and of course Development can't kill this Charizard, so I send in Hero to wall him off and hit back with Dragon Pulse, finally winning me the 7th badge. It's time for the final stretch of the game. Team Plasma does a drive-by and freezes Opelucid City. Why is this dumbass using a dragon move? I clear out the Plasma Grunts, and thankfully none of them were too hard to deal with. Development and Plot Twist handle them all pretty well. Hey Development, where's Plot Twist? No. So, while clearing out the Plasma Grunts in the city, Plot Twist switched in to kill his Zweilous. But instead of being able to safely switch in, they instead took a critical hit head smash, killing them. While Plot Twist never sweeped any trainer, gym, or boss, they put in a lot of work ever since I got them. They were such an amazing defensive pivot and stall Pokemon. What sucks is that the next gym, the water gym, they're finally going to be able to shine. I guess the plot twist wasn't that they were going to die. It was just when they were going to die. Thanks for everything, plot twist. I deal with the Plasma Grunts and I backtrack from Opelucid City to Undella Town so I can make my way to Humalai City. Humalai City. Water City. Before I continue to Nuzlocke, I just want to talk about how beautiful the Marine Tube is. This is one of my favorite places in the entire game. Hell, I'd say the entire Pokemon franchise. I just love it so much. So much, in fact, I have a picture of it in my room. I make it to Humalai City, beat up Tate and Liza for Protect, catch Reflection the Tentacle. Now it's time to get ready for the gym. Marlon is one of the hardest gym leaders in the game. He's not the hardest because Burgh exists, but he does have an annoying gimmick with the rain. Do you know why I hate the rain? It reminds me of the past. And while I do have a weather setter in Adventure the Ninetales, Ninetales is just too fast to lead with, and he can never kill his own weather setter, Politoed. But I still need this weather control, and now it's finally time to bring side character out. Since Politoed holds a focus sash, all I need to do is get him to 1 HP, forcing Marlon to use a potion. This allows me to get Adventure in for free, setting up the sun. From there, Progressio should just be able to come in, set up, and sweep. Let's do it. I lead side character to drop Politoed to sash with Giga Drain. Politoed puts him to sleep with Hypnosis, but that's fine. Side character isn't doing any more real damage. This allows me to switch in Adventure to get the sun going as Marlon heals. I swap to Progressio, hoping to set up, but they get hit with a Perish Song. I have to switch back to character on a Scald, just so I can stall out my sleep turns, and Marlon switches to Tentacruel as side character wakes up taking a Giga Drain, but damages side character with Liquid Ooze. But now Tentacruel gives me the perfect chance to set up. Progressio switches in on Ice Beam, and I start setting up shift gears. Even though Tentacruel was spamming Scald, I didn't fear a burn thanks to the Rost Berry he was holding. Progressio is able to set up 3 shift gears before taking down Tentacruel. Caracasta comes in and Progressio sets up another shift gear as they go for a wave crash, breaking Sturdy, allowing Progressio to take them down in 1 hit. But Barrel comes in and absolutely eats shit from Progressio, going down in 1 hit. Politoed comes back in and sets up the rain. Do you know why I hate the rain? It reminds me of the past. Reminds me of what I lost. Because I set up so much, Progressio is able to outspeed and one-shot Politoed, leaving just Ludicolo and Jellicent. Ludicolo comes in, and Progressio goes for the 5th kill needed for this gym sweep, but Ludicolo is able to just barely hold on. Progressio, my premier sweeper, is dead. I'm sorry. I missed the range on Wild Charge. I'm sorry, Progressio. I'm gonna miss you. Pet the Dugong is able to come out and stall out Jellicent with their own Perish Song, putting an end to this fight. I got the 8th gym badge, but at what cost? With Marlon defeated, the only things left to deal with is Team Plasma, Victory Road, and the Elite Four. Fuck, I still gotta fight Team Plasma. On the way to the Plasma ship, I catch an Ariados, a Staryu, and a Machoke. I use none of these, by the way. I power through the Plasma ship with no issue, learn about Kyurem, then get kicked off. I make my way to the Giant Chasm and make my way through the Plasma ship again. But this time, I'm stopped by Zinzalin. Zinzalin's team this time around is stupidly strong with the Hail. But my Ninetales is of course terrible here because they outspeed the Hail setter. Starting to realize how bad Ninetales is. Even though Zinzalin is able to get the Hail up, he can't punch through my team and I'm able to get the sun going. But I don't get away unscathed. Adventure does get hit with a Stone Edge on a bad switch in, killing them, which sucks because now I just don't have a weather setter at all. Thankfully, Motive, Death, and Apotheosis are able to power through Zinzalin. This leaves only 2 important Team Plasma fights left. Kores is up first, and his team is full of powerhouses like Metagross, Magnezone, Porygon Z, and Klinklang. But the one flaw to his team is that every Pokemon on his team is baitable. I lead Motive to take out his Behem with Shadow Ball. Rotom sees a kill of Hydro Pump, so I bring in side character to tank the hit and hit back with the Giga Drain, bringing him down to Sash. Rotom goes down the next turn and Kores brings in Magnezone, who can kill Bug Buzz. I switch in setting to take the hit and fire back with a double kick. Magnezone doesn't go down though, and Volt switches to bring in Klinklang. Expecting an electric move, I bring in Villain to eat the move and fire back with an Earthquake. Am I fucking stupid? He has fucking Levitate. God, I'm stupid. Next turn, I use Close Combat, putting him at low HP, but he set up Shift Gear, putting me on the back foot. Because I know he's gonna go for Gear Grind, I bring in Author, who dodges the Gear Grind and rips a Specs boosted Fiery Dance, not only taking down Klinklang, but also boosting their special attack. This allows Author to spiral out of control, taking another KO on Porygon Z, Metagross, and Magnezone. Only 1 fight left. Ghetsis has a scary team. And he doesn't have a team of 6. He has a team of 7. 6, 7. Before I fight him, I have to fight Black Kyurem. This monster has a base of 170 attack stat and enough bulk to be able to stomach most hits. Originally, I was going to use Progressio to set up and kill him with Gear Grind, but I was able to find a different answer. The strongest force in every story, hell, not even stories, everyone's life. Death. Illumise or Death is the only Pokemon that can one-shot this Kyurem. And you know why? Because they're the goddamn strongest.
順転と反転、それぞれの無限を衝突させることで生成される仮想の質量を押し出す。挙式紫。
自分を肯定するためにいつもの自分を曲げちまった。その時点で負けていた。
After destroying Cheren, Ghetsis leaves of Koth for Grievous. Death is able to moonblast him down, but not before Ghetsis sets up the Trick Room. Machamp comes in and sees a Stone Edge kill, and he can't miss it because of no guard. And Trick Room is also messing with my speed, so Illumise just can't stay in. I switch to side character, who takes not only the Stone Edge, but also the cross poison that comes after. This allows side character to take a one-hit KO with Psychic. Genesect comes in and sees a kill for Bug Buzz. I switch to Climax, who eats an Ice Beam. Weird. Climax breaks Genesect's Focus Sash with Fake Out, and I switch to Hero on a Thunderbolt. What I'm trying to do right now is bait an Iron Head so Author can get in safely. I switch out Hero to bring in Author, and even though he went for an Ice Beam, it's still fine. Author is able to outspeed and rip a Fiery Dance. Electros comes in next and sees a kill of Aquatail. But thanks to a special attack boost from Fiery Dance and a critical hit, I guess, Electros goes down in one hit. Gyarados comes in after, and this is actually the Pokemon I fear the most. But I actually have a great answer to him. Know how all the way back on Route 6 I caught that Gothita? This is Bargain's first and last appearance. Gyarados wants to set up Dragon Dance since it sees that Gothita can't kill in one hit. And you remember how I tickle stalled Cheren's Munchlax? Bargain is basically going to do the same thing. By using Charm, Gyarados is only able to boost its speed with Dragon Dance. And once he's plus 6 speed, he can't use Dragon Dance anymore because of how setup AI works. And Gothita was the perfect Pokemon for this because they have Shadow Tag, being able to deny any chance of switch out. After getting Gyarados to -6, Death is able to switch in and take the -6 Waterfall and kill with a Moonblast. Hydreigon is the final Pokemon to come out, but it doesn't stand a chance against Death's power and goes down to a Moonblast. The Ghetsis 6v7 was one deathless. With Giant Chasm cleared, I get my final encounter, Home the Shellos. I don't know why I didn't catch anything on Victory Road or Route 23. I don't know. Weird call by me. Victory Road isn't too much further, and this Nuzlocke is coming to a close. This doesn't mean I have it easy though. The journey to Victory Road is decently long and filled with some pretty hard fights. I'm able to get through this brutal area with only losing Author. In my defense, I didn't know Probopass was changed to a rock and electric type. It sucks that I lost the Volcarona, but Author was never meant to make it to Elite Four. It would have been boring if I brought another Volcarona to the Hall of Fame. I meet N at the badge check and he gives me a map. Thanks, man. I can't believe my first attempt brought me all the way to Victory Road. It's kind of crazy. Because in Blaze Black 1, it took me 22 attempts to just get past the third gym. Or 23, I don't fucking remember. But I have no time to rest. I have to deal with the 4 hardest fights before the Elite Four, the Weather Quartet. These 4 trainers specialize in every different weather: hail, sun, rain, and sand. These trainers are no joke. These trainers are so hard, in fact, this is when I started planning and drafting lines to take them out as riskless as possible. There's actually a lot to consider when making lines against these guys. It wasn't as simple as removing the weather because each trainer has 2 weather setters. I didn't make one for hail because it was kind of easy. Setting, Motive, Struggle, and Apotheosis were able to rip straight through the team. But now I gotta deal with the sun. I lead Conflict into Torkoal, and thanks to Thick Club, Conflict is able to one-hit KO. Ninetales comes in and sees a fast kill of Solar Beam, so I bring in Reflection, who tanks 2 Solar Beams and fires back with a Sludge Bomb, forcing Ninetales to switch out with the eject button. Darmanitan comes in and sees an Earthquake kill. I switch in Home to take the Earthquake, and I'm confident they can completely wall Darmanitan. Boy, was I wrong! They couldn't handle a Stab, Sun Boosted, Gem Boosted, Sheer Force Boosted, Flare Blitz. Yeah, not gonna lie, I don't think a lot of things could have actually taken that. Villain comes in and drops Darmanitan's attack with Intimidate. I switch to Struggle to try stalling them out and kill off recoil damage. Struggle can't take too many hits though, so I switch to my ultimate weather answer, Hero. While Altaria doesn't do an insane amount of damage, they have good bulk and great utility. While the bulk speaks for itself, the utility comes in Hero's ability, Cloud 9. As long as Hero is on the field, everything related to weather is turned off. This means no damage boost from the sun and rain, no chip damage from sand and hail, and every ability that benefits from the weather is turned off. This allows Hero to set up 2 Dragon Dances, spiraling them out of control. Hero is able to kill Darmanitan, Ninetales, Victory Bell, Venusaur, and Volcarona with dual Wing Beat. My only loss here was home, but let's be real, they sucked. They didn't even have Storm Drain. And now I gotta deal with probably the hardest weather trainer, the rain. Do you know why I hate the rain? It reminds me of the past. It reminds me of what I lost. The rain is an inescapable despair. I hate the rain for all it has taken from me. Backstory, lore, prophecy, and Progressio. All of them were amazing Pokemon, and I grew attached to them. I miss them. And it's my fault they're gone. I lost them, but I have to keep going. I have to prove they didn't die in vain. I hate the rain. I lead Death in front of Pelipper, who sets up the rain. With Thunderbolt and Choice Specs, Death is able to one-hit KO through Pelipper's Wakamberry. 1 down, 5 to go. Death baits in Kingdra, who sees a kill of Hurricane. I switch in Hero, who can not only take the Hurricane, but they now disable Swift Swim thanks to Cloud9. Hero is bulky enough to take any hit from Kingdra, allowing me to set up a Dragon Dance. Because of the Life Orb recoil, Kingdra is put in range for my Dragon Claw to kill. 2 down, 4 to go. Seismitoad comes in and sees a Sludge Wave kill. I switch to Friend the Crobat, who completely resists it and now baits Ice Punch. Baiting the Ice Punch allows Development to come in and fire off a Grass Knot, one-shotting Seismitoad. 3 down, 3 to go. Politoad comes in and wants to Focus Blast Development, so I switch to Friend, who's actually able to dodge the Focus Blast. Politoad's HP is halved with Hyper Fang, and they fire back with a Hydro Pump, putting Friend on very low HP. But even through it all, Friend is able to finish off Politoad with a Brave Bird. 4 down, 2 to go. Electrode comes in and can outspeed and kill with Thunder. Subplot the Gligar comes in and eats the Thunder. Subplot, being trained to have as much HP and special defense as possible, tanks the incoming Energy Ball and pops the Air Balloon with Cross Poison. Subplot is able to kill the next turn with Earthquake. 5 down, and only 1 Pokemon remains. Scizor comes in and sees a kill with Crabhammer. Originally, Scizor was supposed to be the 3rd Pokemon to go down, but because Altaria never took an Ice Beam, they were never able to bait Scizor, completely changing the lineup. Because of this, I have to make a sacrifice. Friend, you weren't here for too long, but you were the only way we could get through the rain. I hate the rain. But you know what the best part about it is? The best part about the rain is when it clears up and you can finally look past those clouds. Motive is able to come in after Friend's sacrifice and rips an Overheat. Even in the rain, Scizor can't handle it and goes down. The only fight left of the Weather Quartet is a Sand Trainer, and the Sandman is not all that. I lead Hero into Hippowdon, cancelling out the Sandstorm for now. Hero, holding the Choice Specs, rips an Ice Beam into Hippowdon. I wasn't expecting a kill, but I also didn't expect it to freeze. Good job, Hero. But Hero isn't done yet. Nidoking comes in and hits a huge Sludge Wave. Hero is able to hold on with just 28 HP and fires back with a critical Ice Beam. Excadrill comes in and sees a kill of Iron Head or Earthquake, so I switch to Subplot, dodging the Earthquake. With Hero out of the fight, Sand comes back up, doubling Excadrill's speed, allowing him to set up a Swords Dance as Subplot breaks Air Balloon. Subplot takes the +2 Iron Head and kills Excadrill with an Earthquake. Tyranitar is up next. I bring in Villain to intimidate him, weakening the Stone Edge on the switch-in. Close Combat isn't able to kill through the Troupple Berry, and this allows T-Tar to set up Rock Polish. But this is absolutely fine. Tyranitar can just never kill Villain, and Close Combat is able to pick up the kill. Garchomp comes in after, and I'm gonna keep it a buck. Nothing can really take a hit from this thing. So I bring in Subplot on the off chance to use EQ. Nope, no. Straight to Dragon Claw. Subplot, thanks. You were the only reason why we made it through these last 2 fights. Development is able to come in and revenge kill with Ice Beam, leaving just Clefable. Reflection is able to switch in and 1v1 to Clefable, winning me the fight. With the Sand Trainer beaten, I finally beat the Weather Quartet. Lance congratulates me for winning and flies off. YouTube says hi and challenges me to one last battle. Development, you know what to do. Thank you. And after 40 hours of this journey, I made it to the Pokemon League. Only 5 more fights stand between me and winning this Nuzlocke. Let's go over the plan. I need a team of 6 Pokemon to take on 30, And while I have no pseudo legendaries, overwhelming powerhouses, or insane sweepers, I have something else. A brain, a plan, and an idea. The first Pokemon I'm bringing is Development, my Glaceon. Since Clay, Development has been vital to every fight, being able to completely nuke everything with Specs ice attacks. While Development isn't good against any of the Elite Four, she's absolutely amazing against Iris and her Dragon types. I trained Development to have 252 speed and 252 special attack EVs, so they hit as fast and as hard as possible. The second Pokemon on my team is Hero, the shiny Altaria. While Hero doesn't hit hard, they can take hits really well. Dragon Fairy is an amazing type with a ton of resistances. Hero also has a ton of flexibility when it comes to fights. They can be a choice item nuker, a hit taker, and a setup sweeper. I trained Hero to have as much HP as possible, as well as some attack and speed investment. Also, it would just feel wrong to not bring the shiny to the end. Struggle the Drapion is the third party member. Struggle's amazing typing, Poison in the Dark, and battle armor ability allow it to take hit after hit. Not only does Struggle have a great defensive matchup into the Elite Four, but offensively, they beat 2 out of 4 members. I trained Struggle to have as much HP and special defense as possible for a strategy you'll see later. The fourth member is Motive, my Chandelure. Motive's explosive power with base 140 special attack and a stab combo of Fire and Ghost go absolutely crazy. Not only does Motive nuke everything, they have even more utility, specifically as a Ghost type. Ghost is immune to normal and fighting. This lets Motive come in for free on Fake Out and, more importantly, high jump kick. Motive is trained the same way as Development, max speed, max special attack. The fifth member has been with me for a long time. Climax the Blastoise. Just such a reliable switch-in and the best Pokemon to break Sturdy and Focus Sash. Climax might not be taking many kills, but that's because his job is to keep everyone alive. Because of this, I train him to have high HP and high defenses. Finally, the last slot belongs to my strongest Pokemon, Death the Illumise. Fairy and Bug is a great typing, especially for this Elite Four. Illumise is fast enough to outspeed most threats, and with choice specs, they can take kill after kill. Not only do they have insane killing power, but they are able to bait very specific Pokemon and moves because of their typing. Just like Development and Motive, I train them to hit hard and fast, maxing out her special attack and speed. With these 6 Pokemon and 5 lines planned out, I'm ready to take on the Pokemon League. Just like in Blaze Black 1, I start with the Dark type Elite Four, Grimsley. He leads a Liepard who's very Sucker Punch happy. And while Motive is weak to it, I have a trick up my sleeve, Taunt. The entire time Motive is on the field, they will bait Sucker Punch, but Sucker Punch will always fail if I never use an attacking move. Liepard U-turns out after running out of Sucker Punch and brings in Crocodile. This gives me the perfect chance to switch in Death. Death takes the Earthquake and fires back with an Expert Belt Moonblast, killing in 1 hit. Houndoom comes in and Death is able to U-turn out to bring in Climax. Climax is able to take the Overheat and chain Fake Out and Surf for a kill. Scrafty comes in and never sees a kill. I switch to Motive to taunt him out of Dragon Dance and use his Ghost typing to bait Sucker Punch. With some switching, I am eventually able to kill him with his own high jump kick recoil. Honchkrow replaces Scrafty and only sees a kill with Sucker Punch, so I taunt him, not only dodging the damage, but also disabling Roost. Now it's time for Hero to shine. Hero comes in on the failed Sucker Punch, and all Hero needs to do is land 1 play rough to kill. Hero misses the first play rough, which is fine. This puts Honchkrow into a better kill range after hitting a Brave Bird, but Hero misses the second play rough and fucking dies. This is gonna make every other line so much harder. Death is able to come in and revenge kill Honchkrow, and Bisharp sees a kill of Ironhead, so I switch to Motive and get the luckiest Flame Body proc ever. With Bisharp burned, they can't kill Sucker Punch and go down to a Flamethrower. With just like hard spamming U-turn, Development is able to come in and finish off with Ice Beam. Grimsley was defeated. Caitlyn is up next, and my strategy for a fight is actually one of my favorites. Remember how I trained Struggle to take special attacks? Let's run through why. Caitlyn leads a BHM who has the moves Psycho Boost, Shadow Ball, Thunderbolt, and Trick Room. Thanks to Struggle's typing, they can only use Thunderbolt and Trick Room, but we can actually force her to only use Thunderbolt. Using Taunt, Trick Room can never go up, forcing her to use Thunderbolt, which is exactly what I want. It's not for a safe switch or anything. No. I don't have any ground types on this team. It's to activate my item, Cell Battery. An item that raises the holder's attack when hit with an electric type move. This allows Struggle to overpower and sweep through every single one of Caitlyn's Pokemon. Caitlyn is easily defeated. Next up is Chantal. I fully expect to be able to sweep with one Pokemon, Motive. But there's just one problem with that goddamn Sableye. But it's fine, Death is able to switch in safely, and surely this won't backfire on me. I lead with a Choice Specs Motive, who's able to kill both Jellicent and Golurk in one hit. Sableye comes in and wants a Foul Play or Trick. I switch in Death, who can take either thanks to holding a Choice Scarf. Foul Play does very little damage, and if my Choice Scarf got tricked away, I'm getting it right back next turn. Death takes the Foul Play and sends a Moonblast, killing it in one hit. Thanks to being a bug type, Death is able to bait in Chandelure. Thankfully, I can just switch out. What do you mean he has Shadow Tag? There's no hope that Death can survive this. Overheat is just gonna straight up kill. After Hero, Death will be the next to go. But Death refused. In an act of ultimate defiance, Death dodged the Overheat, a 10% chance. Against all odds, Death was able to pick up a 2-hit KO with a Tinted Lens Moonblast. Death, you are truly the strongest. Drifblim comes in after, and I switch to Struggle. Struggle is able to take care of both Drifblim and Koff Rodriguez, putting Chantal down. This leaves just one more Elite Four fight. Marshall was the only member I really didn't have a plan for, but I know even without a plan, I can beat him. I lead Death into Marshall's throw and one shot with Moonblast. Sock comes in after and sees a kill with Stone Edge. Now, normally I would be able to one shot, but he has Sturdy, so I switch to Climax, who breaks the Sturdy with Fake Out. Sock close combats next turn, and Climax is able to just barely hold on and kills with his own Surf. Medicham comes in and sees that it can kill with literally anything, so I make a gamble and I switch in Motive. Medicham goes for a high jump kick and crashes straight into the ground, dealing recoil damage. Motive is able to clean up with a flamethrower, and Mienshao comes in, tries to hit a Stone Edge, but I switch to Struggle, who takes it incredibly well. Knowing Mienshao is going for a high jump kick, I switch back to Motive, making Mienshao take the recoil damage. Motive is then able to clean up with another flamethrower. Conkeldurr sees a payback kill, and I switch to Struggle. Do you see how well these two are together? Oh my god! Knowing Drain Punch will always do the most damage, I switch to Death, who takes it really well and is able to kill with a single Moonblast. Lucario comes in and can only Bullet Punch here, giving me a free switch into Motive, allowing me to kill with Flamethrower. I beat Marshall. I beat every single Elite Four member. It's time to take it home. I've won every fight up to this point, but I lost a lot getting here. All the way from my starter character to the shiny Altaria hero that I lost to Grimsley. All the Pokemon I lost made it possible for me to be here, and I'm not gonna let Iris stop me. I lead development into Iris's Dragonite, and even with Multiscale and a Yachi Berry, Dragonite can't take the Ice Beam. Hydreigon comes in only to suffer the same fate as Dragonite, going down in one hit. Archeops comes in only to be Development's next victim. Superior is dead on entry with a 4 times effective Ice Beam. Haxorus is the next Pokemon to come in, and this is the one Pokemon Development can't one-shot. Development, you're the best goddamn Glaceon I could have asked for. You put in the work. Ever since Clay, you've done nothing but take kill after kill. Thank you, Development, but your story ends here. Death comes in after and gets the revenge kill with a Moonblast, and Iris sends out her last Pokemon for Alligator. But Death is simply the strongest, and there's no way they could lose this. Setting up a Quiver Dance, Death goes for one last Moonblast, winning me the Pokemon Blaze Black 2 Redux Nuzlocke. It's honestly insane how much better I got from my last Nuzlocke. Compared to my struggling and taking every loss as something I couldn't handle, to being able to keep going in spite of every loss. I have a lot of fun doing Nuzlockes. It makes me appreciate each Pokemon a little more. So, what's next? Maybe I'll try out Run Bun.